Okay, good morning. Today we have some actually super interesting news for people that don't live in the state of California, but sometimes make the mistake of wanting to visit here. Well, if you live in another state and frequently or occasionally or ever have the desire to come to the state of California, it's probably a good idea for your safety to bring a gun. But it's probably not a good idea to carry that gun because doing so from a legal standpoint could get you in a lot of trouble, even if it might be the best option for you safety-wise. Well, today we have some news from the CRPA, Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, and Gun Owners of California, who are announcing a small win. Actually, it's a pretty big win in a lawsuit against the LA Sheriff's Department, and is going to allow for non-residents of the state of California to apply for and get a concealed carry permit that is valid in the state of California. Now, is this as good as just having reciprocity with other states? Whereas in many states, me as a California resident with a CCW permit, I can, for example, go visit states like Michigan where my family or my wife's family lives, and I can carry my gun there under the restrictions of California and Michigan. There's some requirements and whatnot, but it's pretty simple. Now, what I'm going to be reading to you is some tweets and information from Chuck Michel and Costas, both of which are involved with the CRPA, and we are going to be giving you a brief overview of what this is kind of going to be looking like. None of this is set in stone yet, but there is going to be an actual process in the near future, and when there is an actual hard, in paper, in progress process for doing this, I will go over in depth how you could do that and what I would recommend you doing. Now, this is from Chuck Michel. It says, thanks for the efforts of the CRPA, SAF, GOA, and GOC. Non-resident carry will soon be a reality in California. The plaintiffs have agreed upon language with the DOJ to submit as a proposed order to our judge in CRPA versus LASD, implementing how non-residents will apply for CCW permits. While the order is of course not final until the judge signs off on it, we are hopeful that she will do so promptly given this was the product of negotiations with the DOJ. We had to make some compromises to reach an agreement that we will hope will not be necessary in an eventual final judgment. Because again, this is like all part of the preliminary injunction and whatnot. That said, we went into these negotiations with an overriding goal. It must be possible for non-residents to apply for a California CCW permit without having to be physically present in California. Interviews, fingerprinting, and even training should be able to be completed outside of California, which is huge because if you have to travel here to get a CCW, that kind of defeats the purpose of getting the CCW so you can travel here. And it would add a huge hurdle in the way. We are happy that we've met that goal and hope that the order will be signed promptly. It would take effect 90 days after the court's approval. Once the order is signed, the CRPA will prepare an information bulletin summarizing how the process will work. And then you can read the proposed order. I'll have these links down in the description or the pinned comment or something for you guys. This part is going to be from Costas. Costas is a lawyer with the CRPA, good friend of mine, and he is going to break down some of the key points that you might want to be interested in. Assuming the court signs our proposed order, non-residents will soon be able to apply for a CCW, and then he's going to do this is just a brief rundown. Non-resident applicants will need to be members of the CRPA, GOA, GOC, or Second Amendment Foundation. He says, I promise this was not a fundraising idea on our part. We had to make a number of compromises in order to get the aspects we thought were most critical. As California does CCW permit issuance by county, you will need to pick a sheriff or city PD to apply with. It must be a city or county you have a good faith intention of visiting in the next year. If you are a YouTuber, content creator, whatever, and you want to get a California CCW, reach out to me, and I will be your good intention if you need to prove that to someone. The training requirement is perhaps the most complex part of the proposed order. California requires 16 hours of training, including live fire qualification for first-time applicants and 8 hours for renewals. You can, of course, choose to come do your training in person. That's the simplest but most costly route given the travel expense. To those who can't do the extra trip to California, you may take an online CCW course. If the sheriff and PD you apply with has not approved such a course, you can take an online course approved by any other sheriff or PD in California. For the live portion, you choose a trainer near you who offers that and inform the sheriff/police department of your choice. If they veto your selected trainer, they will have to suggest an alternative within 75 miles of your residence. That's neat. I think that's a really neat concession there, because if they say no, they are then the ones that are required to provide someone close to you. You will have to identify the handguns you want in your permits by make, model, and serial number, and you have to qualify with each one separately. That's how we have to do it as residents. The required interview can be done virtually. You can mail in your fingerprints, and if approved, the permit is mailed to you. And if you have applied with one of the few issuing authorities that require a psych exam because you like to play on hard mode, the psych exam must be done remotely, or they must suggest a provider close to you. And it is your responsibility to make sure that the handgun you carry is in a California legal configuration. So obviously 10-round mags, threaded barrels, that stuff. We have an assault weapon ban. So with a normal handgun in the state of California, like if you have a Glock, get a 10-round mag, because you, as a non-California resident, could not have really acquired Freedom Week mags. So get a 10-round mag, don't put a threaded barrel, don't put a vertical foregrip on it, and you're pretty much good. Now, none of that is going to be the final ruling, but that is how they've proposed it, and that was a joint venture with the DOJ and the CRPA and those other organizations. So if you're in another state and you're interested in getting a concealed carry permit in the state of California, soon there will be a process for you to do so, which I think this is a huge step forward. Hopefully, at some point in the future, we just get permitless carry across the entire country. That would be my ideal, because then lawsuits like May v. Bonta, the court case that I'm involved in, challenging all the restrictions on where you can actually carry, won't matter. That would be awesome. And you know, we have things that we have to deal with, but this is a win. And this is a win in the direction that people have been asking for a long time. And it seems like we're actually moving in the direction we want to go. Because a lot of people, you know, if you live in Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, chances are at some point you work your way through California on the way to somewhere else, or on the way to someone in California, and having a concealed carry permit would probably be nice. I know my brother-in-law, anytime he comes here to visit us, he hates that he has to be either choosing between being unarmed or breaking the law. And as someone with 2 kids, or 3 kids, that is a concern for him. So I know there's a lot of people that might visit California, and if this process is doable enough, it would give you the ability to continue to exercise your right to protect yourself and your family when you're not in your home state and when you have the misfortune of being in California. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. Oh wait, actually, donate to the CRPA, Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners of California. If I missed any of the other organizations, donate to them, become members regardless. CRPA and those orgs are doing great work. I'm involved in 2 lawsuits that are funded by the CRPA. I would not be able to make the progress. We would not be able to make the progress that we have without people supporting the CRPA. The CRPA works for pennies on the dollar when it comes to actually fighting these laws. They do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of advocacy and outreach, and they do a lot in the courts. So if you want to spend money and you want your money to go far in the gun world as far as getting your rights back, the CRPA is an excellent organization to support, as well as any of those others. Thank you, everyone.